What's going on, sports fans? Once again, it's Case to the GOAT, representing for Auburn and the rest of the SEC. Really love that Auburn football, man. Big shout out to my fearless and true gang. Want to give a big War Eagle, man. We starting to round up this recruiting. And Auburn, I would go out on a limb and say that Auburn has had a pretty decent recruiting season. Also had a lot of help with some people deciding to stay, like Derek Brown. I think that's probably one of the biggest stays on defense for Auburn. It's to solidify that defensive line and give the linebacker core some time to really get comfortable back there as things start to get really rigorous in the SEC in mid-season on, because everybody understands that brutal stretch in the SEC that usually starts around early October, and then it just kind of carries out through the rest of the season. And it's definitely huge to have that defensive line in place, and you don't have to replace that. You have that core group coming back. Another thing that's just kind of iffy right now, man, is we really need George Pickens to stop playing and go ahead and sign on the dotted line. George Pickens is a very hero wide receiver out of Hoover High School. The kid has mad skills. I mean, if you look at him on film, it's almost like looking at a video game when you see this dude play, like the cheat code of a video game. He breaks tackles. I mean, he will not go down. He has great hands, and I think if he could just go ahead and sign on the dotted line, quit playing around, quit going on these unofficial visits, these official visits, and sign with Auburn. He's actually has been a hard commit to Auburn ever since 2017, June of 2017, but he still hasn't signed on the dotted line. But there's a young man who has signed on the dotted line, and that is Mr. DJ Williams from Sebring High School in South Florida. I would go out on a limb and say that this is a steal pick for the Auburn Tigers. DJ Williams is an incredible running back. The biggest thing for him, though, he's coming on kind of late somewhat because of injury, and two, he had so many guys in front of him. You know, and plus, when you down in that South Florida area, that's kind of where Asa Martin and some of those other guys, it's a lot of talent in that area, and I think he just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But he came up out of that shuffle real quick, baby, because I'm going to tell you, Appalachian State caught on real quick. They offered him, and he accepted. And see, here's the biggest thing. When you're a guy that's trying to play at the next level and it's starting to get real iffy as to whether you're going to get signed on to a school, I think you kind of jumped the gun, because he as soon as Appalachian State offered, he jumped on it. He took it. A little bit later, Massachusetts offered. Of course, he still hung on to that solid commit, that hard commit to Appalachian State. But then, as his start began to grow, I mean, you're talking about a young man that played quarterback in between passing the ball and running the football. Dude had almost 3,000 yards, so his stock started to go up. Kind of reminded me of Jartarvius Whitlow out of Lafayette, Alabama. They call him Booby Whitlow now, but he was one of those last-minute guys. He had that hard commit to Tulane, and then Auburn just kind of came on the back end and swooped him at the last minute, kind of like what they did to DJ Williams. One of the things that I really love about DJ Williams is he is a very strong running back, very solid running back. He has incredible vision, and that's something that you're definitely going to want to have in the run-pass option that he's going to be dealing with as he's playing with Bo Nix. I think he and Bo Nix will make a very good combination moving forward. Another thing I like about him is his pass blocking potential. He has a nice frame to where I think he's going to be very good in pass blocking, and that's going to be very important as to whether he will make some noise going into this season or not. Definitely a solid commit. And when you look at his story, you know, he was a guy that fell way below the radar. And a lot of people were like, man, after looking at film, man, this should have been a number 5 pick. This should have been a 5-star. This should have been this kind of start. But the thing is, no one knew about the kid until late. As a matter of fact, he got that offer early in July, I think June, somewhere around there, from Appalachian State. Nobody else had any more offers on the table for him until November. And that's when all the offers started. Tennessee come chiming in. Alabama wants an unofficial visit to see see what's really going on with him. Georgia, I think, kind of looked at him. Tennessee offered. So his stock really went up in November. He went literally from going to Appalachian State, never to be heard from again, to where a lot of the Power 5 schools were starting to look at him late in the stretch. So Auburn definitely in the mix. Started recruiting him very, very aggressively, especially after losing Asa Martin. Asa Martin decided to transfer and take his show down to Miami. So Auburn felt like, hey, we need to get somebody that's going to help solidify us at running back, not only for this year but for the future. Because I mean, you got to look at the rigors of the SEC. You got to look at injuries. You got to look at things just not working out, people just not fitting into the system. Asa Martin is a guy that we need to go ahead and pick up, and they basically solidified the pick as they offered. And not Asa Martin, but DJ Williams signed on to Auburn to help solidify a very, very solid recruiting class for Auburn. Not a lot of, just Harold picks, but a very, very solid class for the Tigers, especially like with Bo Nix, and Owen Papo, some solid picks for Auburn. And we're going to talk a little bit more about their recruiting, but DJ Williams definitely is a very solid pick and a last-minute choice for Auburn, as they really started recruiting him heavily after Asa Martin decided to transfer. And that's going to give Auburn a lot of leverage at that running back position, especially if he can come on and really be good at pass blocking, which is very important in the run-pass option offense. Look out for DJ Williams. Like I said before, I think he's going to be a very, very nice addition to that Auburn backfield, and is going to help out speed-wise, because the dude is not slow at all. And he's very versatile. To where he has played quarterback some, so he's definitely got a high level of intelligence for the game. And I think and I really think, he really, really is going to be that jackpot for Auburn. Auburn really cashed in on this one. It was good that they kept their eyes open and was able to get a very, very solid running back in DJ Williams. Once again, it's K-Stu the GOAT. For Vernon Speak Sports, we're mostly talking about Auburn football. Shout out to my fearless and true gang. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel, man, especially get some momentum going into the 2019 season as Auburn gets ready to take on Oregon in Arlington, baby. Kickoff classic. You all take care.